while we look at where George H.W. Bush was and what he was doing in 1984. According to Wikipedia, in 1984, U.S. officials began receiving reports that the CIA's Nicaraguan Contras, supervised by George Bush Sr., were involved in cocaine trafficking. 3 officials told journalists that they considered these reports reliable. George Bush was not in the middle of drug trafficking by Nicaraguan Contras. He was at the very top, in charge of the whole thing.
Ricky Ross, the biggest crack dealer in Los Angeles history, was able to get out of jail by proving that he was selling drugs for the CIA.
The average week would at least be $2 to $3 million, almost guaranteed. Some days we would have $2 and $3 million days. I was connected with the CIA and all these high-powered people up in the government.
Soler Castillo worked on the front lines in the U.S. war against drugs, but he agrees with Ricky Ross.
I remember down in Central America, we were refueling planes full of cocaine coming into the U.S., and it was a CIA operation being run by the White House. George Bush Sr. came to Guatemala on January 13, 1986, and he approached me and asked me what I did there at the U.S. Embassy, what my job description was, and I told him I was a DEA agent working international narcotics investigations, and I told him, look, you know, we have gathered intelligence that the Contras are involved in drug trafficking down in El Salvador. And then he just smiled, shook my hand, and walked away from me. And it was then and there that I knew that my government knew that these atrocities were occurring.
Even Robert Bonner, the head of the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, agrees.
We understand what you're saying. A ton of cocaine was smuggled into the United States of America.
Well,
In cooperation with the CIA?
that's exactly what appears to have happened.
The CIA are major drug dealers.
Ricky Ross is doing George Bush's time.
So, in 1984, Bush's cocaine trade is booming so loud that U.S. officials, foreign governments, and journalists are all starting to engage in very dangerous talk about it, for which they will be severely punished, by the way. And at this very moment, Mitt Romney establishes himself as the utterly secretive operative of the fraudulently named Bain Capital. The picture's starting to come together, no? You ain't heard nothing yet.